What's happening? What's the business? It's your boy Landlord from Alabama, back with another video. And today, man, I just want to thank everybody who been watching the videos as of late, man. I've been seeing people starting to actually pay it a little attention, and I appreciate it, man. I'm on the road to 100 subscribers. Might not mean nothing to you, but it means everything to me. So, you know, help your boy get to that point, man. I appreciate all the love that I'm getting, no matter how big or small. But now, let's get into this video, man, with the updated news about Kelvin Joseph. You know, I really don't like to talk about things outside of football, but at this point, it basically intertwines with the football stuff. So, you know, Mr. Kelvin Joseph, aka Boss Man Fat, he's going through some little legal issues. He was involved in a shooting. He didn't pull the trigger, but he was in the car of the vehicle who let off shots that killed the man. But as of today, as right now, as I'm doing this video, they saying he will not be charged with anything. He's not facing any charges as of now. So that's good for him, man. But I say prayers up to the family who lost their loved one. You know what I'm saying? I really hate that happened. And it's really unfortunate that Kelvin Joseph was a part of this or involved or around the situation at all. But now it's still up in the air. His future and his livelihood is still up in the air, in my opinion. So the Cowboys gonna have to make a move or decide what they want to do with Kelvin Joseph. We spent the premium pick on the guy in the second round last year, so we're gonna have to decide what we want to do, but we don't know really what's gonna happen as of now. So that's unfortunate. That's gonna be some news and some issues that the Cowboys gonna have to deal with in the future. So now we might be in need of a cornerback. So now my number 5 cornerback coming in is Jalen Davis. And you know, he's 6'1". He ran a 4.3 40 in the combine, man. He got top tier type athletic ability and speed for the cornerback position. I think he led his team with 3 interceptions. He was tied for the lead. And you know, he was a good player for my Alabama Roll Tide, you know, last year. And I think he can be a great addition to the Cowboys if we were to go link up with him in his direction in this year's draft, especially later in the rounds, maybe 3rd, 4th. You know, he might make it to 5th, and I would love to get him that far down in the draft, man. It'll be very low risk and very high potential, in my opinion. So now let's get into my number 4 cornerback prospect that should be on the Cowboys radar, Roger McCreary from the filthy University of Auburn. You know, I'm an Alabama guy, so you know we despise Auburn, but in this case, this cornerback has a lot of potential. He's only 5'11". He ran a 4.5 in the combine. That's not too bad. You know, that's decent speed. You should be able to keep up with most wide receivers in the league at 4.5. It's not blazing fast, but it should be able to get the job done. He had 41 solo tackles last year and 2 interceptions for Auburn, and you know, he was a pretty solid cornerback. Wasn't scared of contact, came up and made hits behind the line of scrimmage, man. He's a good candidate for the Dallas Cowboys. I like him personally as an option for us at corner in the draft. Coming in at number 3, Andrew Booth, coming out of the University of Clemson. You know, he's 6 feet tall. He got the speed. He ran a 4.4 in the combine, if I'm not mistaken. And you know, he's a pretty solid cornerback, man. He had 3 interceptions for his team, you know, like 27 solo tackles. So, you know, he was very involved. He was doing his due diligence out there on the field. He was making plays, man. So, you know, he's a prototypical type build for a cornerback in this league these days, standing at 6 feet. So, you know, I'm sure Dan Quinn likes him kind of long like that. You seen him draft Nation right last year. So, you know, he could be a player to look out for, probably early 1st round, hopefully he could fall to the second, maybe, and we go up and get him or something. And now for my probably favorite cornerback of the draft outside of Stingley and Sauce is Kaiye coming out of Florida. And you know, the Gators, you know, Alabama, one of their arch enemies. But you know, at 11 pass breakups, 39 tackles, and you know, he had 2 interceptions. So, you know, he was making plays, he was coming up, making big time hits. So, you know, Florida, you know, they play that SEC type defense. So I believe he can be one of those players that can step in and just day one and, you know, galvanize the cornerback room and, you know, earn his respect from playing rugged and coming up, putting his nose behind that box and, you know, making big tackles and making big plays. And now for my #1 cornerback in the Cowboys range specifically would be none other than Trent McDuffie. Coming out of Washington, man, he's only 5'11", if I'm not mistaken, but he ran a 4.4. He's one of the more competitive players in this draft when it comes to the cornerback position. And, you know, the sky's the limit for this guy, man. I think he's a little undersized, but he plays way bigger. He's not afraid. He's not intimidated by none of these cornerbacks. He played at a pretty big program at Washington, and, you know, they play some upscale type opponents, and, you know, he played good. He performed. He didn't crack under pressure, and he was one of the more consistent players on that Washington team throughout the whole year of 2021. So he's a very good, versatile type cornerback. He could probably play inside or outside for you, and, you know, he's versatile. So that's exactly what type of build that Dan Quinn likes out of his players, versatility. And, you know, Dan probably could get the most of this player, and he would be a day one starter. They got him ranked as a first round talent, so you want that type of player to come in and take over for Anthony Brown. But after that top 5 players that's actually in our range, we have to talk about the other type of options we might have. Are you gonna let Anthony Brown stick it out? He had a good year last year, so that's an option. Or will the youngster Nation Wright come and take over at cornerback 2? Are you comfortable with those 2 options? So it's a lot of questions that we have to ask when it comes to this cornerback room, especially with all this drama and news going around Mr. Kevin Joseph. So I just wanted to take a quick review of this, man, and see where y'all head is, see what type of options we will have. And that's all I really got for you today, man. So holla at your boy, Landlord from Alabama, with the same handle on all social media, man. And like I say, 1K, one love, Cowboys Nation. Let's go.